Thank you so very much for joining us. This is still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's head straight to our main conversation for today. The federal government has secured a $747 million syndicated loan to fund Phase 1, Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, stretching from Victoria Island to Eleko Village. This marks Nigeria's largest road infrastructure loan, with Deutsche Bank as global coordinator and supported from international lenders including Afrexim Bank, ADEX, ABID, and Zenith Bank. The project is structured under EPC plus F engineering, procurement, construction, and financing model and awarded to high-tech construction company. According to the Ministry of Works, the road is over 70% complete and is being built with continuous reinforced concrete pavement for durability. With a lifespan of 50 years and minimal maintenance, the project has passed extensive technical, legal, and environmental evaluation to ensure it meets a global standard. Finance Minister Wale Edun said the deal reflects a renewed global investor confidence in Nigeria's economic reforms and commitment to infrastructure development through sustainable public-private partnership. He added that it sets a precedent for future financing model aimed at long-term inclusive growth. Right here I have with me, joining me via Zoom, Barrister Tunji Abdul Hamid, Barrister, Law Public Affairs Analyst. Good morning, Barrister, and welcome to Enterprise Morning today.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so
much. Nice to be with you.
Thank you so very much, Barrister. Barrister, let's start with this. Of course, the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway is no longer news to every Nigerian. A 5-year-old today in Nigeria knows Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, but what they don't know, like many other Nigerians, is the finance involved in it. I remember when it all started, President Tinubu and Dave Omahi said it was going to cost us 15 trillion naira on PPP, private partnership with the government. But the question is, why are we still taking loan just to finance a project that we have stated is going to be a private partnership with the government?
That is the question I cannot answer. That is the question that can only be answered by the government, by the Minister of Finance and some of the people at the Minister of Works and some of the people involved in the project. The project from the start is like a trap. It's not even. It's not clear. There's no transparency about it. There's no transparency about the award of the contract to the company that is doing it. That's
all right. I think we have a little glitch there. Barrister Tunji Abdul Hamid is my guest for this morning, and we're talking about the loan that had been taken already by the federal government on a private partnership for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. And the question on the lips of Nigerians is, knowing that we have so much on our hands already, why would we be taking loans to construct the Phase 1, Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway? This is a burning issue that we think we would, of course, be discussing about, and every other time try to make sense of some of these things, believing that we would have concisive results and answers to some of these things as they unfold. Barrister Tunji Abdul Hamid is my guest to see through all that we have today. Barrister Tunji, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm back with you.
Okay, beautiful. So you were saying something before we had that little technical internet glitch.
Yeah, I was saying that from the start, the project require transparency, require accountability. From the start, people don't even know what it will take to conclude the project. Because you recall the project when the bill regarding the what's it called, appropriation bill regarding that for last year was presented, there was no provision for this coastal road. That because we were told that the government will not be involved in the payment of any amounts. that will be fully financed by the private company. And that's why they awarded to the company they awarded it to. There was no transparency in the award of the contract. There was no public, advertisement of the project, and it was given to them. And we are told they have capacity. But today, the government is the one paying all the, or using all this fund or seeking for fund to finance the project. It's a matter that can only be explained by those in government, by the Minister of Finance, by the Minister of Works, and other people involved in it. And what I see in it is that some people have argued or opined that that project is an attempt. It's just a way of siphoning money. And that's why there's no transparency in it.
Very true, because it is so shrouded in secrecy. The question lots of Nigerians would ask is, what is the capacity of high-tech? Barrister Tunji, I do not know if you've seen any of the jobs done by high-tech in Lagos or across the country. We know what Cranborg has done. We know the capacity of Julius Baja. But the question is, what is the technical capability of high-tech, and why do you think this is given to them? Remember, high-tech is closely connected to one of Bola Tinubu's closest business ally with Eco Hotel, and equally the son of the president. So the question is, do you think all of this is not shrouded in, just like you did say, siphoning public funds for private gain?
According to the Minister of Works, we were told that the contract was awarded to high-tech because of their previous works. They say they've seen their capacity, they've seen the kind of equipment they have, that nobody can parade that in this country. That's what they said, that high-tech has been is very has quality, has the capacity, has the finance to face to deal with the project. It can take care of it. So he said it was given to them based on those conditions, that they've seen what they have done, the project they've done, and the equipment they have, and the kind of backing they have in terms of finance. So, but today the story is changing because people don't ask questions. We move on. We just move on. We don't talk about it. The National Assembly, unfortunately, the National Assembly should be asking questions to say, look, when you brought this project to us, you claim that Nigeria will not put money, or at least we will put, or at most we will put a little money in it. But today it appears Nigerian federal government of Nigeria is the one backpulling all the finances required in it. And I just hope at the end of the day they will not finish the construction and said it will be told, and that a particular company will take that toll gate for a number of years before relinquishing it. We have seen high-tech work in Lagos. That popular toll gate, what's it called now? Where the NSA's campaign was.
Yes, the Lekki toll gate.
They did that. I think they were also the one that did Oshodi. I'm not too sure. That was it Dangote?
Yes.
I'm not too sure who handled that.
It's Dangote that handled the project.
I think they were. But I think it was a high-tech that did it on his behalf, because I'm not sure Dangote has a consulting company. No, but like I said earlier, the project is there's no transparency in it. There's no accountability in it, and it appears it's just a deliberate move by certain people to use it as a way of getting money to their pocket. Once there's no transparency, once there's no accountability, you can't even owe them to anything, because there's no proper budget planning as to know that, look, this is how we're going to spend, this is what we're going to spend, this is what we're going to pay in compensation, this is what we're going to pay. There was no breakdown of those things. So you can't be able to even owe them to anything. So as far as I'm concerned, the project itself is not transparent, and because of that lack of transparency, all the issues being done are not. There won't be proper accountability. You see, some people have alleged that the contract was given to high-tech because of the relationship with the current president, who are told allegedly that Mr. President and Mr. What's it called, the CEO of high-tech are very close business partner. So, and in that regard, people even allege that the son of the president is also a shareholder or a director in that company. But they are deniers of those allegations anyway. But like I said, there was no transparency the way and manner it was awarded to them. It was not even a private bidding, as far as I'm concerned. There was not even proper bidding in line with the requirement of law in Nigeria. So I'm not surprised that we are seeing all these kind of dealings in it. 7 others as the loan being secure on behalf of a private company that we were told as agreed to bankroll or source for funds to do it, and that the government will only bring a certain percentage of that of what it will cost. But it's not appearing so these days. The way things are going now, it appears Nigerian federal government has gone bankrolling everything.
Very true, Barrister. But let's take a look at other matters here. President Tinubu, I do not know if he had anything to talk about ending corruption in Nigeria, just like Muhammad Buhari has stated when he came into power that he was going to end corruption. But corruption manifested more under his regime. President Tinubu, he hadn't said anything much about ending corruption in Nigeria, but of course we still have more than enough corruption, as we can see in lots of things that are happening in the country. Barrister, let's take a look at the local/international debt of Nigeria. As it stands today, the debt we have in Nigeria is about 144 trillion naira. President Tinubu inherited 77 trillion in 2023, May 29th, 2023. In less than 2 years, he took that loan, the debt, to 144 trillion naira. The economic people have said that there's nothing wrong with borrowing. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing wrong in borrowing. It's how you apply the borrowing. When you borrow money and you apply it judiciously, it will become better for you. But when you borrow money and you squander it, you borrow money, for example, to do business, and you go ahead and marry a wife. That is the kind of loan that's not good. But if you use that loan to develop your business or improve your businesses, that business itself will pay that loan. It's nothing bad in loan. But the kind of loan we collect in our country today is that people will just collect loan, and the loan will find itself in the pocket of certain individuals or people. You will not see how it's being utilized. We were told so many loans were secure during the last regime of Muhammad Buhari for trail and other things. Today, those things we're not seeing them. And we have been told that those things have been bankrolled by certain companies and this and that is a loan. But the loan, we have been told, the loan has been secured. This project are still there where they are. We have not seen any much in it. So I think we are having this because we have an irresponsible National Assembly. I am not sorry. I'm not sorry to say so. Irresponsible in the sense that they were not able to do their job as a National Assembly. The job of National Assembly is to check the presidency. If we have a serious National Assembly, they will have called the president and say, "Look, when you brought your budget for this project, you did not tell us that Nigeria will be incurring so much money to do it. But today we are seeing all this. Why? Come and answer the question." And the query will be issued, and then they take a proper step. But that will not happen in Nigeria. Rather, they will even stamp it and tell you that it's for developmental projects. And they will tell you they are seeing what the president is doing. Can't you see ICCC? Can't you see road in Abuja? Can't you see that in this? They will tell you all those things. We have reduced governance in Nigeria to construction of roads and building bridges. That is, once you do that in Nigeria, you are the best government. Even if people are not able to eat, even if people are not able to go to school, even if you don't have good health condition, as long as you are doing roads, as long as you are doing that road is not even much. You do little road and you put a lot of money in it, and then the people will celebrate you. And they've seen that in us, and they are doing that. Unfortunately, like I said, the National Assembly is not checking them well, and they are not asking questions. Because the National Assembly is representing us, and it should be speaking for us and asking on behalf. But they're not doing that. They were thinking what they call cooperation. It's about allowing them to do whatever they like. No, cooperation is not allowing them to do what they like. And they're asking questions from government. It does not mean you hate the government, or does not mean you are not patriotic. You are trying to do your job to ensure that, look, there are proper development in the country, and that money that are being released or that are being gotten are used for the purpose for which they are being requested for.
Barrister, we respect the democracy and the rule of law, but you would agree with me that democracy and the rule of law comes with lots of bureaucratic bottlenecks here and there. The Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway is a very, it's a legacy project if it is concluded. Very similar to the Third Mainland Bridge that was started by Shehu Shagari in 1983. But of course, it was concluded or finished by General Ibrahim Babangida. Do you really think that if the rule of law or the processes that are supposed to be followed in a decent democracy was to apply, do you think we would have legacy projects like the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway?
There's no way you have a serious National Assembly or a National Assembly that knows the priority of its citizen, or the National Assembly that wants to work in line with the priority of the citizen. That you get that. You won't get it, because at the time when it was approved, that was not our priority, because that was at the time when government is saying there is no money. Everybody should what's it called? Be patient, and then you have to sacrifice, and there is no money, there is no this and that. So if we have a serious National Assembly, that project will not see the light of the day.
But do you agree? Yes, Barrister. Yeah, sorry to interject, but do you agree? Because with what you have said now, lots of people would have equally said that the Third Mainland Bridge in 1983 during Shehu Shagari was not the most important thing, because at that time we had Qatar Bridge, which as at the time was very okay. So do you equally think that if we keep relying on it is not the most important thing, we won't have legacy projects in the country?
You can have legacy projects, and you see, you can't have legacy projects at the expense of your life. For instance, you are a father, you have children whom you have not been able to pay their school fees. You have children who have not been able to eat correct food, and that's why we say, if you see the report today, they will say we have a malnutrition problem with our children. So if you are a father who has not been able to pay school fees, who has not been able to pay house rent, is being pursued with a notice to quit. You are a father who has not been able to meet up all major essential commodities or factors. You now say, look, you want to go and build house somewhere, and because that house is necessary, so that you won't be paying rent again. That is important. I want to do away with paying rent, and therefore your students must stop their schools, or must sacrifice. Maybe and if they are sick, they just pray to God to be well. Will you see that parent as a responsible parent, or as having a good priority? It's not a good priority. I'm not saying we don't need it. There's a need for it, but it's not a priority at that time. The road we have on ground, how good are they? And if you now create if you now spend all our money to do, the entire budget was how much for this year? That is almost what they are using. What they say they will use in building that bridge. It will cover like half of our budget for a year.
Yes. And
you see, for me, it's a lack of. It's not the priority for me. I'm not saying it's not important, but I don't see it as priority for now. Bearing in mind what is on ground, bearing in mind the crisis on ground, so many things are not working, and the complaint is that there is no money. There is no money to fix certain things. When you fix certain things, those things will bring money for you to do bigger things. But if you don't fix it, it will generate into a crisis or create more chaos, and then you may not be able to do any other thing. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not a priority at the time they bring it up. But because they want to create they want to have what they call legacy projects, so that they will say it was done by a social person. They want their name to be mentioned whenever it's been done, and that is the purpose. And again, they believe that doing that project will bring more money into probably will bring more money into certain people's pockets, and that's why people they were pushing for it. I think we need to put more searchlight on it. They need to account, and they make it more transparent. It is not transparent, and therefore the accountability will be difficult to do by those involved, because this money being used is our common wealth, and every Nigerians have the right to know how this money is being utilized. And if they are utilizing this and say, just leave us, what you must see is just the road. It's not that we don't want to see the road. We want to see what you have spent on the road and how you have spent it. And you see, because there is no proper planning before now. I'm not surprised they are now beginning to borrow money somewhere to finance it.
Barrister, I'm not trying to be just like the media outlet that we have, Enterprise Television. We are not in any way trying to be regional centric in some of the things that we say. But you will agree with me, even if it was made popular by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Emilokon, it's our turn, it's my turn. It's the type of politics we do in Nigeria. During the days of Muhammad Buhari, every project in 8 years, most of the project, lucrative projects, was done in the northern part of Nigeria. Remember the rail from Kano, I would love to believe, to Maradi, wherever it is. You know, it was done to favor the northern part of Nigeria. Nothing was done for the south of Nigeria. Now we have a president from the southern part of Nigeria. Don't you think it's equally good, as much as we do not want to, you know, play the regional type of politics, which we want to believe is not good, but don't you think this is a worthwhile investment? Because if another leader from another region comes up, don't you think this might be cancelled and it will never see the light of the day?
I don't want to agree with you. I do not agree with you that during Buhari all the projects were done only in the north. There are projects done in the south. We have been told that Lagos Ibadan Road was done. We have been told that there are real projects that was done in Lagos. There are so many other projects that I may not remember now, but it's not correct. And this is the reason why I don't like this sentimental, this ethnic politics, whereby a local or it's our turn politics. Because it's appear we are saying, just come and wherever you enter, just go and take care of your people alone. That's what we're saying. We are encouraging it, and that's why I don't support it. I don't believe that the project that I'm talking about here, it's not only beneficial to the people in the north, in the south. The others two will also benefit. I'm not talking about the benefit of it or whether it's beneficial or it's not beneficial. There's no doubt it's beneficial. But saying at the time what we are doing now, based on what is on ground, the kind of money we are spending on it is not a priority. We can develop our health centers. We can ensure that our medical, we take care of the medical infrastructures. We pay attention to schools and other major infrastructures, so that once those are happen and things are moving well, Nigerians there will be an enabling environment, and you will be able to make more money, and that money you can now use it to do other things. But as it is today, you abandon so many other things. Just like in Abuja, people will talk to them and say, Mr. Wike is the best governor, is the best minister so far because he's doing roads. There are so many other. The teachers in Abuja just call up their strike.
Yes. So
many things have been abandoned. There is no good health. There is no good education. People are not looking at that. So for me, it's not about not being not useful or it's not beneficial, or I will not go into ethnic coloration. I see it as a Nigerian project, but for me, it's not a priority. Even if it's a priority, what I'm saying is that the way the project was packaged shows some suspicions, because there was no, firstly, like I said earlier on, there was no transparency in awarding the contracts. There was no transparency in how much will be paid to those who will be affected based on in regard compensation. There's no transparency as regard the cost of the project itself, how it will be spent. We are just told that they are looking at 15 trillion. We don't know how do they arrive at that. We don't know. So how much is the company that's handling it? How much are they bringing in? How much have they brought in? How much is Nigeria contributing? We don't know. So these are issues that I think make it look like it's a project just for people to just satisfy their interest.
Barrister, some analysts like you and pundits have made jest of the president that he commissioned a 30-kilometer Lagos-Calabar coastal highway, which is similar to what local government council chairmen, would have commissioned. And that was just the phase one, 30 kilometers out of 750 kilometers. The question is, for how long do you think this would continue? Because is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu just trying to play to the gallery? Or is he being the Bola Tinubu that we all know from Lagos, who is very good at allowing people do praise singing for him. How much of this would help Nigeria?
It will not help us in any way. Because when you see government commissioning a project or inaugurating a project, they spend a lot of money that can be used for more beneficial projects. And and sometimes you see them inaugurating what they call it. Is it when they want to start a project? What they call it again?
Yes.
When they do that groundbreaking, when they do groundbreaking, they spend a lot of money that can be used to do other things. And at the end of the day, nothing will be done. Nothing will be done. So for me, I've not seen. It's only in Nigeria that I've seen people construct toilets, and they want to roll out drums to celebrate it. So in Nigeria that they will see them doing road, which is normal. See them celebrate it and come and do Owambe or any other form of a celebration. It's not for me. It's not in it. But as long as we continue the kind of democracy we are practicing, which I don't believe we are even practicing democracy. My own belief is that we are just in a civilian rule. As long as we continue this civilian rule attitude, we will continue to see this kind of practice or this kind of governance from our people.
Barrister, you're a very strong Democrat, and you respect democracy a lot. With many times I've had you as a guest here. But if we compare, if we juxtapose military regime in Nigeria as against the civilian which we have right now, which we call democracy, which you do not agree with, you say is civilian rule. Do you think we have made progress infrastructurally during the military than we have made during the civilian rule, like you've stated?
Yeah, I think I want to say that we have made more progress during the military rule than the civilian rule. I'm saying so because if you look at the money that have been invested by that have been borrowed by the civilian administration, you will see that compared to what is on grant, it's nothing to write home about. So in that regard, I want to say that look, the military even project on grant today that they are even innovating or trying to make it look new. Our project already done that have been done by by the military administration. They were not doing something major thing that is new. Those things that they are doing now are those Calabar Coastal Road or other things that they are doing. Majorly, there are no new infrastructure that have been put in place by the civil administration. So I think it is even more. They did more during the military regime than what we call civilian, what we call democracy. I didn't say. I say it's not a democracy because in a democracy there are features in the democracy that are not existing today in our country. The rule of law is not sacrosanct. So some people are above the law, and in a democracy, nobody should be above the law. In a democracy, there must be clear separation of power. In our own case, we just have a separation of power in terms of names, national, the executive, judiciary, and legislature. But in practice, in doing what they are doing, there is no separation of power. They seem to have mingled and become one to an extent. So in that regard, there is not. So the difference between democracy and the military regime is a recognition of fundamental rights. The military, during the military era, when you do certain things, in fact, during the military, the constitution does not even apply. It was not working. And in the civil rule, where we say things is allowed, constitution is there, the fundamental rights have been infringed with impunity. So what are you? People who want to protest, ordinary protests, they will be dispatched with tear gas or even a firearm. I hear Mr. Sowore is trying to organize a rally or protest in support of welfare of the police. July 21 or so, I can't remember the date. I want to tell you, just note it. The same police will be sent against they are trying to fight for their welfare will be the one that will come and dispatch them on that day. So that's the unfortunate situation we have in our country. We have a situation in our country where rule of law has been taken to the background, and it has become the rule of people, or the rule is now at the whims and caprices of the people in government. So as far as I'm concerned, we are not doing anything different from what they have been done in the military era. Only that people in government today are wearing agbada. And some of them are even former military rulers.
But Barrister, my last question to you is, I've not been to any military training institute before. I do not know the modus of their training, but what do you think our agbada-wearing politicians can learn with respect to the way the military officers are being trained? What do you think they can learn so they can at least, be good enough to take care of what we have in Nigeria?
Learn what from the military?
Yes, what leadership training? Yes, what leadership training?
I'm not in any way suggesting that those people who have led us before now did fantastically well. No, I'm not saying so. I'm not saying so. In fact, they cause most of these crises that we're having today. They create all this corruption that we're talking about today, and that's why today you hear them say Abacha loot is being returned, or this one loot is being returned. I'm not in any way saying they did well, so I don't see what they can even train our what our civilian. The only thing is that they were more. I don't. It's relatively what I spoke relatively that time when I say they did well in public infrastructure. I'm not saying they did well. When generally they were not far better than people who are there today. And in fact, some of them are even the one in government today in Agbada. Some of those people, so those who are not in government physically, they are there at the background, giving instructions. So and in fact, our first democratic leader was a former military head of state.
Very well.
Now I'm talking about in this regime now.
Yes, exactly.
1999.
Yes. Very well.
It was a former head of state, and it became so we have so many of them there like that. Mr. David Mark, Mr. Chief Bode George, so many of them who are today in Agbada were in the past our rulers in military. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not in any way saying that they did well. So I don't know what they can train any civilian ruler. It's not about training yet. We have people these people in government, if they have genuine intention, can do the job. They have the intelligence. They are brilliant. But because of the selfish interest and that they just want to be seen as the owner of the country. They want to control everything. That is the reason why you are seeing what you are seeing. It's as if they don't know what to do. They know what to do, but because of this greed and selfishness, is the reason why we are where we are today. You can see from day one that the new administration has been destroying. They are already planning against the next election. So it's not about not knowing what to do. No, they know what to do. I expect their intelligent people in government. They are very, very intelligent. They know what to do, and that's why you see when they bring out policies and statements, you will see that look, this is a fantastic policy. But when it comes to implementation, you won't see anything in it.
Unfortunately, Barrister, the Nigerian Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, NIPS, in Kuru, Jos Plateau State, was set up to help our leaders learn how to implement, not just make laws, but implement them to the latter. But sometimes we ask, what do they even learn when they go there? Because after all the training and spending of money, training them, they still come back to what you say. They still come back to the same politicians that are selfish, the same politicians that don't want to allow things work because of their selfish interests and all. It's actually a very bad situation. But we just truly hope that the time would come when we would have good leaders. Yes, you wanted to say something? Have you not
asked yourself that in fact those who have been giving them training at that Kuru,
yes,
have been part of the government before now? What they do differently? It's a matter of selfishness and greed. As far as I'm concerned, it's not about not knowing it. I've seen those people who have lectured at that particular institute who have been part of the government today. Do they do anything different? Or they don't know what they were teaching them again in terms of leadership? The leadership is about people. But what we see in our country today is not about the people. It's about what those in government, it's about the interest of those in government. It's not about the interest of the people. And that's how you see them bring out policy and say, no going back. That's the way we want it, and that's the way to be. That's not the way to rule a country or to govern a country.
Very bad situation there. But of course, we continue to hope and believe that things will get better and that our leaders will see reasons to have a change of heart and value system so Nigeria can be a better place for everyone. Thank you so very much, Barrister. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so very much. All right, that's just what we have. Barrister Tunji Abdul Hamid as my guest for this morning. I'd love to believe you enjoyed everything that we had talked about. You can read up on everything we've said when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Gwibike. Thank you for watching. God bless Nigeria and have yourself a wonderful day. Stay safe and bye-bye.